Sarah from The Upcoming, an absolute pleasure to chat to you today. Huge congrats on this incredible movie. Saying that I watched it yesterday morning, had an absolute blast. And I just love how it absolutely pays tribute and is within the legacy of the original 80s movie. But you're bringing it bang up to date as well in terms of contemporary issues around, how we deal with AI. Is that what you wanted to achieve mostly, that balance between the two?
I would say yes to that. And at the same time, it's other things that draws me in when I go into making a film, because like this, I've spent 3 years on this movie, around the clock for 3 years, and I know it just takes everything I have, and so I think what I'm drawn to, yes, AI and all that, it is a very timely subject matter, and obviously, it wasn't that 3 years ago when we started working, so I'm very grateful for it, that it feels, very current right now. But when I'm looking at the story, like what I'm drawn into is the Ares character and like, his journey and his discovery, and like I felt it was very fascinating, seeing the world through his eyes and seeing little things like rain, like things that we take for granted, but he's seeing it for the first time and he's fascinated by it. And that was interesting for me as a filmmaker to portray that somehow, and him discovering what it takes and means to be human and having to earn it, that was what drew me in. And then at the same time, it's the spectacle, obviously, like the concept of the digital assets coming into the real world, and the, light cycles coming into the city streets, like that. As a fan of the franchise, is something I wanted to see. And as a filmmaker, I wanted to make. So he has a little bit of both, I think, and a good mix of things that I'm drawn to.
I mean, what a cast you managed to assemble. I mean, Jared, a self-confessed kind of Tron super fan, going toe-to-toe with Greta and, of course, Jodie, and then Evan Peters. I mean, he's just such a delicious villain. I think he was pitching it somewhere between Eminem and Kendall Roy. Is that right? What was it like working with this cast?
No, it's amazing. It's like, one of the reasons why I keep doing this kind of movies is that I get to work with so many amazing actors and people, like in general, like the team, the Industrial Light and Magic, like people building our light cycles and like designing, and then I get to turn the camera on these, just brilliant character actors. And I kind of knew that we spent a long time casting, to get this ensemble together. And Jared Leto he's been on it for like 10 years, I think. So he hired me. but so he was already set. So for me, it was all about like, okay, who can, and I love Greta Lee, obviously, from past lives. And so she's always been on my radar. And then and Evan Peters is amazing. And so is Jodie Turner-Smith also. She's just amazing as a these samurai programs, so yeah.
And I mean, this is, 100% a movie that you have to watch on the big screen. The visuals are just astounding, but also the soundtrack. I mean, maybe you can talk a bit about bringing that all together, because I know that's something that's been part of the other movies as well, the soundtrack being like a real cultural touchstone. And you've done it again here with Nine Inch Nails. So maybe you can tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like it's a concert movie almost, and I always knew that was going to be, because music is such a big part of the Tron DNA, like all the way back to 1982 and Wendy Carlos, who made the music back then, and obviously the previous Tron film with Daft Punk, probably, one of the best film scores, iconic film scores ever made. So very big shoes to fill. So I was just thrilled when Trenton Atticus from Nine Inch Nails wanted to do it and do it under their Nine Inch Nails banner, like all of that. I was just thinking, okay, now we have a chance, And I think also their style lends itself to the concept of the film. I knew when I was shooting that they were going to do the music, so it allowed me to go a little bit grittier and not your father's Tron, you know what I'm saying? It's like that kind of thing. But what a journey that was. It was amazing to work with them, like, and how closely they work with the my sound designers and sound mixers, and like getting everything together. And it's been an amazing ride. And as you say, I think the theater is where it really comes across, honestly. Like, you see it on the big screen. It's the music is like a physical thing, you know. It goes through you, vibrates through you. So I love seeing this film in the theater, you know, with people. It's just a very immersive experience.
I also think part of the Tron movies is kind of, you know, pushing the envelope in terms of filmmaking techniques, and maybe you can talk a bit about the balance that you wanted to use, you know, in terms of using CGI, but also practical sets, you know, even cutting a police car in half, you know, because I guess it can feel like everyone's kind of leaning more towards, you know, using CGI completely nowadays, whereas you kind of had more of a mix.
Yeah, and again, like when you have the resources that we have when we make these kind of, you know, big Hollywood movies, or whatever you call them, that's what I want to do. I want to do it for real as much as possible. You know, police cars, but I think we had like 6 of them lined up, all, you know, ready to be split, and we used like 4, you know, like that's the type of movie making on that level. And we built the light cycles for reals that made it possible to put the cameras on them, and like, you know, you can feel it, you know. I hope the audience can feel it, that we went to a great extent to do it as much as possible for real, with the rain and the, you know. But then obviously we also have Industrial Light and Magic helping us. ILM was doing the VFX for the movie, and had great fun with that. Obviously, I think a lot of VFX artists look at Tron as kind of like ground zero, because it was the first film was the first film to use computer graphics, and so it's kind of like the holy grail of VFX artistry for them. So everybody was so passionate and bringing this movie to life.
Do you have a personal favourite moment? I mean, you might sort of look at, like, you know, the real amazing set pieces, but sometimes it's the smaller moments as well. I mean, when Jeff Bridges reappears on the scene in the 80s grid, but also when he's in the car and talking about how much he loves Depeche Mode and 80s pop. I don't know. Do you have a favourite moment?
I mean, it's hard to not say the Bridges scenes with, you know, the Kevin Flynn with Ares on the original Tron grid. Like, that's just like, first of all, Bridges they're both amazing actors, and Bridges is also such a great human being. You know, he gives so much. You can't really have a Tron chapter without his character in some way, and getting him to do it, that was what I would call a magic feeling. Seeing them on my little monitor on set, it was just like you pinch your arm a little bit. So I'm very proud of that, and how we were able to recreate the look of the 1982 grid and like all of that stuff. It's fun for the fans, and I'm a fan, so that's probably my favorite moments.
And if you want one takeaway from the movie, I mean, I guess it is, you know, sounds a bit corny to say, but through this AI, you know, you really do go on a journey thinking about what it is that makes us human. So I guess you can go on the thrill ride, you know, on a surface level. You can also come away with some of those questions.
Yeah, exactly. And I think what I've learned about, so I, as an artist, as a filmmaker, I'm mixed emotions about AI. You know, that's my knee-jerk reaction to it. Definitely, I'm a little scared. You know. That'll take my job, take our jobs away, and like things like that. But I think so it needs guardrails for sure. But as we also say in the film, I think done right, it can really serve humanity, and it can be a good thing, like most technology can be. You know, when we discover something, it can really help us, and so. I have to stay optimistic.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us.
Great.
Huge congrats again on the
thank
movie.
You so much for coming.
Nice to chat to you again.
Okay,
Thanks so
great.
much.